I always do it backwards. All right. Here we are. Oh,
Hi, Amy.
There's Amy. Hi. So here we are on our Sunday night sit and stitch. And so, Miss Cheryl, you've been cleaning cupboards or hanging
I've been cleaning our cupboards in this room. It probably even sounds more echoey. When we walk down the hallway, it looks really weird because there's nothing on the walls now. The cabinets where all my stuff was. And Steve's going, you need a picture. You need something up there. It's like, no, we'll get used to it. Not putting anything up to take it down to paint. So, yes. And then I hurt my shoulder here, so I couldn't crochet for about 2 or 3 days or knit, which was hard. So I just had to read books.
Ooh, nothing wrong with that.
Yes.
Nothing wrong
Sorry?
with that. That sounds wonderful.
Yes.
I have been cleaning. I started at one end of the room and I've been going kind of around in a circle, just going around the perimeter. And now I'm kind of over in that corner. I haven't got to the bad part yet, but I'm over there. But so I was saying I had just picked up this, it's kind of a carpet bag type thing, and you close it up to take it with you, and then you set it up like that if you want to work. I love this thing. I cannot even remember. I've had it as long as I can remember.
My grandmother.
That looks like something I would have inherited from my mom if I had it.
Well, I know I got it new because I remember getting it, but it could have been 30 or 40 years ago.
It has that look.
And I mean, they still sell them. They just got more up to date fabric. And the legs are coming off. It needs to be glued back together. I might have Mister put a couple of drops of glue in it because I do like it. But I found these 2 old patterns in it. And this one was an old, very simple sweater pattern. Just, it's going to have no shape to it, and it's going to roll around. And I don't know. I think it's probably not even worth the time to make it. And then I just found this hat pattern. And basically, it's any size, any weight of yarn you want. Hi, Talking with Bob. And you decide what size hat you want and fill in the blanks. And then you knit a row, and then you have a decrease row all the way down until it's done.
Oh, so it's a hat, was it?
Some kind of a hat. So I don't know. It looks pretty simple. I don't know.
How many stitches do you have at the end? Just wondering what the scrunch part top would be like.
When you're all done, you've got 8 left.
That's not too bad. That's pretty small.
Right.
Could be a cone head.
And then, but you do this mathematical calculation, which apparently I've already done. So I would need to cast on 81 stitches.
What weight yarn?
I'm assuming
that's a deep sounding one.
Probably a worsted because it doesn't say, but back in the day, that's the only thing I ever worked with.
Okay.
I didn't write that down. So that's interesting. I don't know, but it gives you this combination thing and this calculation thing to do, and you can use any yarn you want.
That's good. I like ones that do that. I like ones that do that for you.
Yeah, actually, that is really nice. This is funny though. It says the lesson here is to buy more yarn than you think you will need and return what you don't need. Ha ha.
Oh. Oh yes. No. Hi, I bought this yarn here 3 years ago. I don't need it anymore. Can I get a refund? Sure, here's your 10 cents.
Certainly. So I was looking at these old, I don't know if these must be plastic. They're quite funny looking old crochet. These are funny looking crochet hooks.
They are. I
knitting
quite like that.
A 10.5, and they're shorter. These wouldn't be too bad to work with. I haven't worked with straight needles in so long. I can't even imagine doing it.
Are they sort of like chopstick plastic?
Yeah.
Yes, because the ones I have are like more grippy plastic, but they sound chopstick type.
And then these are a boy size 8. That's something I would have used quite a bit.
Yeah, exactly, Amy. There's never any leftovers.
Right. And then here's a pair of, but they don't have the, oh, here it is. Couldn't be any smaller. 5, size 5. Size 5. But boy, that's not very.
Hi, Lefty. It's been a busy last wrap-up of the year for everyone, I think. But you're here now.
8s with some kind of a pattern in it or something I was marking off. Nope, just keeping track of rows. So no idea what I was making. Must have been big though. I have finished 40 rows.
Might have been. Oh, no, you wouldn't have knitted a blanket before.
I might have done something really simple. I don't know. Because I remember having a couple of books that were like knit in a weekend and you were using great big yarn. And these are size 11, those are pretty big needles. So I could see using something like that. And my giant crochet hook.
Oh, I couldn't. My hands would hurt. I've got little hands, but I wouldn't be able to hold it for very long, which is unusual. A lot of people, it's the smaller the needle you go,
the smaller one. I wouldn't have any problem with that. But I'd have to be careful what kind of yarn I used. I couldn't use great big thick yarn, but I could use 2 or 3 strands of like a 4-weight.
Yes, that's absolutely true, Lefty. I still have my checker as well, especially when they went from, here in Australia, UK sizing to millimetres. There's one switch where you might have 5 written on your needle, and that's actually a 5.5 millimetre.
Oh, yes.
They were really close, yes.
Yep.
That was the changeover point. So, yeah, I always check because I've got stacks of old needles.
Yep. And these,
Arrow were always my favourite.
I have this box. I'll bet you these go in here. There was a box that had this was my set of crochet hooks, and I was pretty excited because I had all these hooks. And then I had the little silver ones, the little bitty ones that you use for small stuff.
Oh, the steel hook.
Yeah. No, that doesn't fit in there. There's a J. I think that's already in there. Yep. So these are extras. So this doesn't fit in here. So now I've got bags and bags and bags of hooks. But I'm gathering what I'm doing is I'm going through because these are things I wouldn't use anymore. Hey, Christina. And I'm going through all my hooks and gathering everything together. And I'm going to send them off to those guys for Carrie.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So that'll be a good thing to get rid of, a good way to clear out all this stuff and send them to somebody that can actually use them. Not the little bitty ones. I know they can't use those little, speaking of which, their hands. They want the bigger ones. And then what do we got in here? Oh, a snippy. That one looks good. Boy, I've got one at the shop. It doesn't even cut thread. I need to just throw it in the garbage.
I'm not fussed on that type.
Yeah.
Yeah. Lefty makes another good point about using the sizing gauge for your crochet hooks as well, because they can change over time.
Oh, yeah.
And the G hook, yes, can be both a 4.5, a 4.25, or a 4.0.
Oh. Well,
I usually go by the millimeters rather than the letter. The only thing I know is a J hook is a 6. that's it. And so I have to work backwards from there. And I think, oh, is it by half millimeter or by millimeter? Yes.
And then this
Actually,
was
the
my
books that I get never have numbers on them anyway here in Australia. Letters on them. Denise.
This was my original set of knitting needles when I got all fancy and got me a set of interchangeables. And I thought I was out of town with this thing. And I can't even use these things now. It's so horrible. They're all plastic. And it's got these plastic. There's the cable.
Oh, my goodness.
That's going to be easy to work with.
Yeah.
But man, oh man, I loved these things when I first got them. I loved them. And I see the size 10 are missing. And the problem is I've got some projects that were so old, I just threw the whole project bag away, and I might have thrown the needles away. But I don't have any cables missing, just the size 10 needles. But
you could probably sell those on eBay. There'd be someone who's into vintage type stuff. I've never seen that particular brand of
I think they
exchangeables.
Well, replacement needles, $3. I bet not anymore. I'm curious. I'm going to go see. Well, they didn't even have a web address on here.
No, they look pretty.
So let's see if they do now. DENI, Denise, interchangeable knitting needles. Oh, they've got interchangeable crochet hooks too. There it is.
Lefty, I would think it might soften them, but once they go cold again, wouldn't they stiffen up?
Yeah, that's what you're supposed to do with them, is dip them in hot water or steam. Oh, they're still in business.
Yeah.
Interchangeable hooks. The original interchangeable hook. Isn't that something?
Yes. That would be great, Amy, to be on the same page with sizing. Oh.
Crochet hook set. You can buy individuals, double pointed needles, knitting needle pairs. So $8.50 to replace a one.
How much? Sorry, how much?
$8.50. Well, that's not terrible. You can buy a set of replacement cords for $25. How much was the whole?
Do their cables still look the same, like a U shape?
Yeah, the box still looks exactly the same as the one I bought. Same color and everything. The original set with these needles is $75, and I guarantee I did not pay that much.
No.
Because I would not have had the money to do that.
Well, if the replacement ones are $11 now, did you say?
I don't remember. I don't remember.
And then on the pamphlet you had, they were $3.
Oh, back then I could have bought a new carrying case for $7.75. Wow.
Did American coins go through, American money go through a change? Like we went from pence, pounds, shillings and that to dollars and cents. So it was different.
I don't know. I just know that they have added some to it.
Yes. Because if you see something and it's got the, curly dollar sign or the pound sign, you know that it's pre-1966 here. I was just wondering if there was anything like that with your country.
It says proudly making quality products since 1973. And this one has dated 77. Dang, if I had that other set in here, I could probably sell this thing. But I wouldn't. I am probably going to give this to, actually, I'm going to get rid of that. Okay. Yeah, I like the Chow Goose. What I do not like about the Chow, and I have a set of interchangeable Chow Goose, and I struggle like crazy where the needle and the cable connect. I fight with that. It hooks up, my stitch hooks up on there with every single stitch. Now, my individual Chow Goose that have just a cable, I do not have that problem. My one-piece ones, it's just my interchangeables. And it could be different with the metal ones. Mine is bamboo. And I fight with that, and I fight with that, and I fight with that thing all the time.
Is that where the cable meets the needle? Or is it where the cable meets its little connector?
Yeah, where the cable and the connector meet.
Right. Because what I did with my Knit Pros, I had that happen a lot. So I got some thin fabric and put it around it, and then got the pliers and squeezed it in around there, and it's fixed that for me. But if I had an expensive set like Chow Goo, I don't know that I'd be game to try it.
I was very not happy with it because it's the first time I splurged on something like that, and I thought it was going to be wonderful. I was very disappointed. So I like the Knit Pro most of the time. They're a polished steel. Right.
That means with certain fibers, it's just so slippery that I feel like I'm trying to hold them back, and it slows me down when I'm knitting because, you're trying to hold the stitches back from falling off. They just slide off. And I have pretty good tension usually, but when it's particularly with bamboo, which is a slippery fiber anyway, the combination of slippery needles and slippery yarn, my tension is just so tight. So I'll drag out the wooden ones or the aluminium ones.
That's why I bought the bamboo. Because of that, I thought it would be easier to work with, and I wouldn't be fighting with it as much.
Yeah.
And the other mistake I made, I didn't realize until after I had bought them, was I bought short ones. So the needle itself is only about 3 inches long.
Yes.
Yeah, Prim needles grip more because they're kind of a plastic.
I think I've got bamboo, I have plastics, some of the plastic from the 70s and 80s. Aluminium, they're my favorites, the aluminium. And again, they're back from the 70s, 60s, 70s. Some of them I inherited from a grandma. And the polished steel ones. And another thing I don't like about them, they're fairly long needle, but I tend to hold mine back quite a long way when I'm knitting. And the same with my crochet hook too, I think. Not up here, I'm sort of way back here with it. And that's probably because I was a knitter first, so I'm used to holding something back this far. And yes, with the Knit Pro, my hand is just on where the cable meets the needle. So I'd like another 1/2 inch to 1 inch, I guess, on the length.
On your crochet hook, you'd like it
on
long?
my Knit Pros.
Okay.
Knitting interchangeables.
Yeah, that one. And then I've seen some that are like super short, and they're like literally like 1.5 inches.
Yes, they would be for small socks, I would think, where you've got just a tiny little cable as well. Yeah. And then I've seen the square metal ones with the ridge underneath them. I'm not sure. And also the ones with a squarish looking tip. I'm not sure.
I've got one pair here that is metal, and they're kind of squarish, and I don't mind them. I don't know that they work. They're supposed to be better for your hands. I don't notice it, But probably I'm not knitting fast, and I'm not holding on to them for hours at a time. So
Yeah.
that's probably why I don't notice any difference. But I don't mind using them. It came in a trial pack. I got a pack of three different kinds of needles.
Right. Also, probably because I'm a knitter first and had knitted for decades before I started crocheting, I'm used to just one width or one diameter of my hook or needle. So the ones that are ergonomic, that have got the thicker part up here, no, they don't work well for me. My hand gets sore. Unless, like I said, if it's an 8mm or higher, then that does, because the hook itself weighs less.
Mm-hmm. Oh, so Lefty's got the Chow Goose shorties, 2-inch and 3-inch tips. Man,
Wow.
tip. I can't imagine that.
And what would you use those for, Lefty? Would that be for socks or even hats, maybe? I'm just wondering why they have them so small, like there would be a reason.
I saw, who was it? What is his name? This guy, he does a knitting thing, and he was talking about him. And I think that's what it was. I think he was doing socks with them.
Mm.
But I can't remember. The Hayahayas. Yeah, I like Hayahayas. It doesn't take long, after you buy about the 7th or 8th pair of needles, because you don't have the exact size you need at $15 a pair for, something like your Hayahayas or your Chow Goose. You realize that just would have paid for a really nice set of interchangeables.
Yes, I'm kind of the other way. I would, depending on what I was making. So if I was starting out knitting, I wouldn't make a hat and I wouldn't make socks. So I'd probably do a scarf, a mug rug, something like that, flat. And so I'd get a cheap pair of straight needles, because you can get those for a couple of bucks. Any Goodwill store. To see if you even really like knitting, or you're going to get, like, I can't imagine buying a whole set of interchangeables.
Oh, no.
Yes, I'm going to get into knitting, and
no, but like I said, after you've done, enough projects that you've had to buy 6 or 8 pairs of needles, you need this size, you need that size, you need this size cable, you need that size cable, and then pretty soon you may as well have bought a set of nice interchangeables.
True.
Because I don't even use, I can't remember the last time I used a pair of straight needles.
Gosh, I use them a lot. They're my preferred way, unless I'm doing a blanket, obviously, because. So if I was knitting a jumper or a cardigan, I would use straight needles if it's not in the round. Really? If it's 5 pieces.
Yeah,
I would use straight.
I would use a cable.
No. Oh, no.
Because they're easier to transport. I'm less likely to drop a stitch, and it's just easier. It's just easier to carry it around without losing everything.
I don't have a problem with dropping stitches. I don't, like, they're not like they're, that long. You can get them that they're, this long.
See, like these ones that I had, they're the shorter ones, but they're still forever long. These are probably 10-inch long. These aren't the great long ones.
No,
they would be miserable. And I'm gonna lose stuff off of these. Whereas with the cables, your knitting's gonna go down here on the end, and I've got way more control when I'm hauling these things around.
They have things called stoppers for your needles.
Yeah, and then they fall off.
But you're still going to. What happens with your interchangeable ones? They've still got 2 ends.
They have 2 ends, but my project is way down here on the end. And so even if
depending on what you're knitting,
then I kind of tie it in a knot.
You shouldn't be able to.
I almost tie it in a knot.
In the round.
I just feel way better. I have never dropped a project off my cables, and I drop them off my straight needles almost every time I do anything.
Wow. I guess it's because that's how I learned. There weren't those around. You learn the methods to minimize that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And then it just becomes second nature. So no,
Yeah.
I would much rather I'd much rather straight needles than.
And then they get all caught up in your clothes when you're working with them.
No.
You're all caught up in stuff.
No. Never had that problem.
All the time.
I think for that shawl that I was doing when I was doing the videos, for that to show how to do a stitch, most of the time they were on just double pointed needles, 8-inch, I think they were 8-inch long, double pointed needles.
Wow.
And they didn't fall off either end of the needle.
Well, you're very talented.
Oh, thank you.
You know, that knitting teacher that I've got at the shop, she has them start on straight needles, and I just go, ah.
Yeah.
It's so scary.
I'll have to put it on my resume. Accomplished in knitting with straight needles.
Yes. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes. So I wanted to show you guys something fun that I found today. And we were talking about it the other day, and it kind of goes hand in hand with doing gifts for other people, but making sure that the people are, first of all, they have to be knit worthy or crochet worthy. They have to be craft worthy. Yes. And that's a thing. Oh, Gina from Knitting Perk. I haven't heard from her in forever.
Wow.
And I have talked about this before with us doing so much rushing and trying to get things done for people that then don't even, like what you've done.
Yes.
Where is my watch later list?
Lefty, that's interesting. I don't think I've come across anyone who knits that tight that it doesn't drop down if they drop a stitch. That's resume worthy as well if you need to put it on there.
I will, Christina. I'll talk about yarn boxes in just a bit. Okay, so playlists. Where's my watch? I just put it on here. Well, I know what I can do because I just watched it a couple minutes ago and I went, oh, this is fabulous, because this is exactly what I have talked about before. So what this gal did, and I think this is a wonderful idea. I think this is a fabulous idea. And what I have talked about is, instead of killing yourself to finish something for somebody by Christmas or by a holiday, is you present them with, what I was going to do was a card and say, I would like to make you a hat or a scarf or whatever you want to make for that person. Please join me in this process. And then you can have them do whatever you want. You can have them, give them a choice of patterns that you want to make. Give them a choice of, go have them help you pick out the yarn. So they're choosing colors. If you already have the yarn, so you can do it any way that you want to do. And then as you're making it, especially if this is one of your littles, they're going to be sitting with you while you're making it. Is that my hat? Are you working on my scarf? And they can be excited as you're doing it. And if it's something that needs to be tried on, now you can try things on without having to sneak around. And whoops, things are falling. And I just really, really love the idea of doing that. And the people that I have talked to that did that kind of thing, the person that received the gift liked it ever so much better because they felt they were involved in the process. They were picking out the colors. They were picking out the style. So they knew it was going to be something they liked. And it was going to fit them appropriately because you weren't guessing on sizes and things like that. And then you didn't have that, oh, I have to finish this by Friday. kind of thing.
Yeah.
It does put a little more pressure maybe on, because now you've told them and now you do have to finish it.
Yes.
But what this lady did, and I do really like it, is she took the yarn she was going to use, and she happens to knit. I would crochet up a little swatch, and then she wrote a little card, and the card says on it, let me get so I can see the card. Redeem this swatch. Can you see it? Redeem this swatch for one custom handmade item. So now, if you've got somebody that you want to give an item to, you're 100% including them in that process. And if they don't, they're not interested. And then she wraps it up, and she's got a nice little present that she's given them. And so that little present goes under the tree. And I know, me personally, I'm going to be thrilled and super excited for something like that, to receive something like that. I think
I would never do anything like that, because I think most of the gift giving ones in the US, where you are, well, the northern parts, are Christmas, because it's cold, it's winter. Here it's people aren't interested in getting hats, scarves, jumpers,
right,
at Christmas.
But you give them this at Christmas. By the time it's cold, you've got a finished item.
Well, true, but they're not even thinking about that. And again, I don't make handmade stuff for family or friends unless they ask. Unless it's wedding, and then I'll do a blanket. I'll design a blanket for them. And that's kind of what I'm known for in our family to do. But if they want anything, they'll ask. Everything I make, I donate. And there's always someone who wants whatever I make.
But it's just a nice way to.
It is, if that's the kind of thing that you do,
right.
Yes.
Still be able to do that handmade gift thing without the pressure of doing something for somebody, hoping they like it, hoping the colors are right, all that kind of thing. And I just really liked her way of presenting it. Yeah, for the craft worthy, because you're non-craft worthy, you're not making stuff for them anyway. Yeah. And I've got a non-craft worthy person in my family that the only thing I've ever made for her was a dishcloth, and she loved it, but only because of the color. Now, she has watched me working on things, and she has literally said, I hope that's not for me, because that's ugly. And after about the third time she said that, I said, oh, don't worry. I am never making anything for you. I made it very clear I would never make anything. And, over the years, I have thought about making her this or that. And after the third snarky remark, I made it clear I would never make anything for her.
Yes.
So, and I've got a couple of grands that used to be in that category, but as they have gotten older, they now appreciate the handmade items much more. So they have gone from the non-craft worthy to the craft worthy.
Yeah. So I'll just have to get a pair of scissors. I'll be back. Actually, if I can find them in here.
It's definitely funny how people are. And you guys know the saga of the baby dress from last summer, where I was trying to make the baby dress for the little for her birthday, and she was growing faster than I could crochet. And now we've got this brand new grandbaby in the family that I got to hold for many hours on Christmas Eve. And we kind of had the same thing happen. I had gotten her a baby set, and it was the hat and the booties. It was socks, hat and socks, and the little mitts.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they were too small. Come Christmas, they were too small. I barely got the little socks on her, but she's going to be able to wear them once or twice and she's done. So I was kind of laughing, and I was telling her mama the saga of the dress, and she said, and I told her I was going to rip it out and start over with a different thing. And she said, well, just finish it up for the new baby. It's going to fit her in a few months. And I'm like, oh my gosh, it never occurred to me to do that. And then I can make a different pattern for the other baby, the other baby who's, almost 3. But I can make a whole different thing for the other one. But I would not even have thought to do that for the little one. But she's right. Yeah. But come summer, it'll fit her. Yes. Yep. And everything that I've made for those kids, she's passing them right down the line from one kiddo to the next. And she's sending me pictures of them. And so this hat that we're making, that Dana's got us making, and I can't remember the name of it.
Oh, the divine hat.
Yeah, the divine hat, which I had never made before. So I was working on it Christmas Eve over there. And the older of the three girls comes in, and she's about 5 or 6. And I said, her mama said that the hats that I made for them last year don't fit anymore. And I said, well, let me try this hat on you. And it fit her perfect. Wow. And I said, okay, I will make this for you. Now, this one is gray, and it is very just gray. And I said, you can have this one, or I will make it for you in any color that you want. And she said, I want a pink one, and I want a purple one. Okay. So I came home and I found some pink yarn, and I lickety split made that up for her. In fact, it's sitting right over there. And I was surprised at how quickly that thing worked up. Thank you, Sue. And I was just really, really excited. You want to hear something funny? So I was sitting in the shop yesterday, and we've got one of the gals. She hasn't been on here in a while, but she is, it's one of the C names. It's not Cheryl. What is it? Cynthia. Thank you. She lives just down the road from me. And every now and again, she'll crochet something up for me to put in the shop. And I was sitting there looking at this hat that she had made. And it was that exact same hat. Never even realized it until I was sitting there looking at it in the shop on Saturday. But so I made her one of those hats in the pink, and I'll have to find some purple yarn to make one for her. But so I made her a regular full-size adult one, and in the pattern it says to change to a different size hook for the brim. And I the first one I did, but I did not like it. It seems very floppy when I did that. So the second one I made all out of the same size, and I really like the way it fits. I think it fits much, much better that way.
So you go up a hook size for the brim with the original pattern, wasn't it?
Yeah. And I just made it really loose and floppy. So I just left it the same hook size, and I made it one or 2 rows longer too. And it fits ever so much better. So I must have a big head. And then with her, she'll be able to roll that brim up and maybe get a couple of years use out of it. But yeah, they are definitely a crochet worthy family.
So does the hat stretch on you but not on the little 5-year-old?
It didn't stretch much. The first one didn't stretch much at all. It was way too floppy. This one
around the top part of the head.
No, it just kind of sits there.
Just sits there. I'm just wondering, because of a 5-year-old to have the same head size as an adult.
Well, and the hat I made for her last year was an adult size, and it doesn't fit her this year.
Okay. So, I know my son has a larger than normal head. He was born 13 and a half weeks preemie. He was really tiny, but his head was off the scale. It was almost like a 1-year-old size head.
Yeah.
And his dad has a large head as well. So yes, when he was in primary school, finding a school hat for him, we'd have to go to the adult section.
Yeah. Yeah. And now also the first one I made, I used superwash merino. I used the 220, the Cascade 220. And the second one, when she said she wanted pink, I just went into the back room and it's literally red heart. So I'm sure, it acted a little differently when I used it.
Right.
I was hoping to find something with some sparkles in it, but I couldn't. I didn't have any sparkle yarn. So hello, off the hook. So Sue, you're enjoying your holiday bag. Good. Did you like your Christmas Day package? I've been so exciting watching everybody open their bags.
I haven't been online for days.
Basically, I go in there and I look to see if anybody has posted people opening their bags. I've been just trying to catch up on those. And then that short happened to pop up today. And I thought, oh, I love that idea. If I ever get to the point where I'm doing something other than, and see, I still do not consider myself a good enough crocheter to give people items. So giving the littles a hat or something is one thing, but to actually make somebody a sweater or something like that is probably never going to happen.
I have a sweater.
But that's true, you do. So
Connor has a sweater.
Oh yeah, the 279 big twist. Gotta do
wow.
it. Oh yes, you got the knitting bag, didn't you, Sue? I was trying to remember which one I gave you, the knitting one. So Dana got to open, I got to watch Dana open hers, and she thought they were kittens on her bag, and everybody's yelling at her, no, it's Benji, it's Benji. And finally she realized it was Benji on there. And I was trying to remember what some of the other ones had gotten. So Pinky Jean, hers were flamingos, and I know people were surprised that a lot of her stuff was bees instead of flamingos. But on her card, she wrote that she collected bees as well as flamingos. And she has so many flamingos. That's why I went in the direction of bees. But I knew I was going to make her that flamingo bag. And then who else? Amber, hers was the granny squares, because you know how she is about making squares. Yes. And then her contrasting fabric was numbers. It had numbers all over it because you do so much counting, And again, she didn't even realize that until after I talked to her. And then Doris, hers had sunflowers on it. And she was so surprised. And I told hers has been the hardest because hers was a surprise gift. Hers was gifted to her. So she didn't get to fill out one of the little cards for me. So I had to sooth out a lot of her answers. But during bingo one night, somebody had said that they loved sunflowers. And she popped up and said, oh, I love sunflowers too. So I quick and wrote that.
Oh, good sleuthing there.
Yep. So that's basically how I got the answers to her stuff. And she would have, she hadn't have said that, she would have gotten chickens because I know she raises the chickens. So she would have gotten a chicken bag. But I'm glad I heard her say the sunflowers.
There's no ads. Does not occupy.
Hello.
I'm trying to get.
So we do have a lot of sheep here. I think New Zealand actually has more per head of population than we do.
Yes, that's what I've heard. And then what else? I'm trying to think what some of the other ones were. There were so many of them that oh my gosh, I was going crazy sewing those bags. Oh, one of the ladies had, she had margaritas on hers.
Oh, yes. I remember that
margarita bag. Yep. And gosh, I just can't even remember all. Oh, one, armchair.
Lori.
She says she collects things to do with the post office. And I found one with stamps on it. And so there's Deb. Yep, she got the margaritas. And so I got Lori's had stamps on hers. And I had a lot of fun with those bags, getting the bags and matching them up to people's likes and colors and things that they collect. I was expecting more like people to say, "Oh, I collect." I can't even think. Pumpkins, or I collect. Yeah. Or Disney. Not one person said Disney. And I was ready I had some really cute Disney fabric. Not one person said Disney. Or I collect whales, or I collect, anything like that. So I was really surprised that there wasn't more of that kind of stuff. But yeah, but I think everybody's been happy with their things like that. So, okay. Somebody asked, and it wasn't that long ago, but I've already forgotten who it was. But anyway, somebody asked about the subscription box. So I'll go ahead and tell you guys about it. So I'm going to be doing a subscription box. Miss Cheryl helped me get this all figured out, and Miss Amber. So the three of them helped me get all of the logistics figured out on this thing. And I don't have the exact numbers because I don't have my little piece of paper in front of me. And I think it's over there across the room. So some of my figures are going to be a little bit generic, but so you can't hold me to my exact pricing, but because there's math involved, and that's not my thing. And it's written down across the room. But what we're doing is we're going to have a subscription box, and it is hand-dyed yarn, which is coming from Have a Some Yarn, the same lady that did the Sasquatch yarn, which, by the way, I got mine wound up to get ready for the crocheted socks that we're going to do next month. And I split mine because I'm going to do, in theory, I'm going to do both at the same time so that I have all of my sizing and everything exactly the same. So when I wound up my yarn, I split the skeins for the same, so I have the same amount of yarn going on both sides. So it's the same lady doing the yarn. I've already ordered the yarn. It'll be here pretty darn quick. And it's going to be, so we're going to have a subscription box. It's going to be every other month. So you're not inundated with yarn, and you're not inundated with the pricing. The yarn will be, it will be a based on kind of thing. And it just happens that the designs are based on nature. So each of the months, and again, it's every other month. So January's box, the yarn design is based on, what was it called? Winter Elegance, or Winter Wonderland, something like that. Let me look real quick.
Yeah, so it's inspired by.
Thank you. So the picture will be up on the website and on the Instagram, all the places. So you'll be able to see the picture that it's inspired by. I'm looking. I've got it. That's not it. And so you'll have a
January's Winter Wonderland. Did you want to show the picture?
Do you have the Winter Wonderland picture?
I do.
Okay, yeah, go ahead and show it. Do you have the second one or the first one? Because we did change it up a little bit.
I'll have a look at the screen and see if that's the first one with the winter tree.
That's it. So there's the picture. So the yarn is inspired by this picture. And it's called, so the base is called Winter Wonderland. You will have your option of worsted or DK or fingering. And this is a subscription, so you'll sign up, and then you'll get, each of the every other month, like I said. So it'll be January, and then March, and then May. You can also do a 3-month subscription. So you can sign up and just right out the gate, just sign up for all 3 months. You will get a discount if you do the 3 months, and it's a 10% discount. The base monthly one is $35, and of course that includes shipping, US only, US contiguous shipping. I will ship to other places. But the shipping is going to be more. You're going to get your yarn. You're going to get some kind of a trinket. And just for funsies, I thought tonight I would like some ideas. I kind of sort of already know what I'm putting in the boxes, but I would just like some ideas from you guys. What kind of trinkety things would you find interesting in those boxes? Bearing in mind, I mostly already know what I'm going to do, but I'm just thinking, just a little feedback on that. So there's going to be
little bottles of tequila.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, actually. Yeah, no.
I thought so.
There will be no tequila. I don't think I can mail alcohol. I think there's a rule about. In fact, I know there's some states that you cannot send alcohol to. So there will be trinkety things. There will be the hand-dyed yarn. You can also opt to do 1 skein, 2 skeins, or 3 skeins. Sorry, Deb, no margaritas.
I know. I've been working on it, Deb.
No margaritas. One time when the Grands were little, I was down in Texas, and we went to they have a lot of outdoor shopping malls. And so you went store to store trick-or-treating with the kiddos. And we got down to the Mexican restaurant, and they had little shots of margaritas for the adults when we were trick-or-treating. That was a fun trick-or-treating.
Yeah.
I try to make mine so they can be used for knitting. And usually when I do my stitch markers, I do them 2 ways. Usually I will do my stitch marker, and they will have the lobster claw on it, and I will attach a bulb marker as well, so you can use it either way. That's how I like to do my stitch markers for the most part. So that way you've got an option. That's interesting. I would have thought people were tired of stitch markers. And so the first one it's literally starting right now. Let me go grab I know where it is. I attached it to my calendar so I could work on a flyer for this thing.
It would be interesting to know what the bulb ones, what size knitting needle they go on, because a lot of times with a stitch marker for knitting, you're putting it actually on the needle, not on the work itself.
Okay, so this basic bulb marker, I just happen to have this handy dandy little.
Oh.
So the 10.5, it fits the 10.5, no problem. I don't know if it's going to fit the 11. It fits the 11, no problem. That's probably going to be it. It does not fit the 13. So it fits the 11. Is there a 12?
Oh, probably.
Well, it fits the
you
11.
You can get knitting needles that are like this thick.
Yeah, it fits the 11. I would say up to a US 11 is the max on this.
Okay, so US 11.
Don't
make me calculate.
Hang
on, yeah, I do have somewhere on my.
Wait. Wait. US 11 is an 8 millimeter.
Okay, yeah, I wouldn't use anything bigger than that.
My gift to you. Having that.
Thank you.
So then what do you use? You use just the solid little round thing?
Yep. I don't even use solid ones. I use a rubber one. You know, the loom bands. Kids were making wrist bracelets out of them. I'd have to say 10, 20 years ago. They probably
I know
still
what
do.
you're talking about.
And
Yeah.
they're little elastics, different colors.
Mm-hmm.
I bought a packet of those. There's something like 500 in them. For
So you guys like this
$1.50.
style?
Yeah. But you can't use those type for crocheting. It doesn't work.
No,
Oh,
not
I
really.
do have one.
But what I
Actually, that was
could
on here
easily
as a little
do is put the lobster claw and what I could easily do is when you're filling out your form, your knit, your crochet.
Yep.
Do you prefer jump rings? Do you prefer a jump ring style or do you prefer the other style?
Yes.
Although I hadn't planned on making stuff for these because I'm hoping that I'll get so many orders that it won't be feasible to be able to make them. Let me get my list.
Okay.
It's right here. It's right here.
I don't even know why I had that on there. I think it was for some. Oh, to know that it was for a certain project rather than others, because I've got a couple. They're the same color, different sizes though.
Okay, so is it one skein of yarn? So no, it is one skein of yarn. At some point down the road, there may be a sock set, but right now, at least for the first 3, it is a basic set. There is a possibility that we could, yes, I was thinking of the wool wash. There is a possibility that we could have an option to, as an add-on for a mini for the sock set. But for the first 3 boxes, that is not a possibility. So the price for 1 box with 1 skein of yarn is $35. 1 box with 2 skeins of yarn, $68, and that does have a discount. 1 box with 3 skeins of yarn is $99, and that has an additional discount. If you do if you buy the 3-month set, 1 skein of yarn is $95. That has a discount. 2 skeins of yarn is $184. That is an additional discount on top of the discount you're getting for 2 skeins of yarn. And the 3-box set is $268. Again, that is with the discount for 3 skeins, and that's an additional discount on top of that. And that also, like I said, that also includes your shipping and US shipping.
So what was the price for the 3-month 3 skein one?
3-month 3 skeins is $267.
$267. So that's less than $30 a skein because you're getting 6.
Yeah.
You're getting 9 skein. Oh no, that's less than 267, and you're getting 9 skeins of yarn all up by the end. Yeah. $29.66 per skein.
Plus the add-ons.
Yes.
Yeah. So.
And shipping. Shipping's included, isn't it?
Oh, of course. Of course.
Yes.
The shipping's included.
Wow. That's pretty good.
It is. It is.
So, yeah, you'd be getting it for roughly around $25 a skein.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I did think about the wool wash. I thought that would be a very good one. And then if you buy the 3-month subscription, you're going to get you're going to get an additional goodie in there just as kind of a thank you for doing the 3 set. Now, the other thing to remember is these are very limited numbers, especially the first month, because this is the first month. It's going to take time to get the word out. So I ordered a very minimum number for that first run. I'm hoping and anticipating that after the first run, we would have higher numbers and we'll be able to handle more orders the second and third time. But the first one, and so if this is something you're interested in, it would be a really good idea to get that 3-month subscription to guarantee that you're going to be able to get those. Deb, just give me a holler. Well, and yeah, those of you who got the subscription bags, those of you who got the holiday bags, you know the quality of my products. So now also down the road, not yet, because like I said, this first one, I wish I had done this a month earlier, but with the holiday bags, it was absolutely impossible. And if I had waited a month, I couldn't have done it at all because my yarn lady is getting ready to have a baby. So it was this time frame or probably not for 6 months. And I really wanted to get it going. So down the road, possibly maybe, no, I can't even say that. But down the road, be on the lookout for some add-ons that you can do. I'm hoping to find some really cool add-ons that you might be able to throw in your box. Just like we were saying, maybe we can get those minis, some coordinating minis in there. But I would have to have, and if those are kind of things that you might be interested in, let me know, because if I'm ordering coordinated minis, I have to order a certain amount in order to even get it. So I would have to have several people interested. And just for funsies, if anybody in here was interested, if you thought you might be interested, tell me what weight of yarn you think you might order. I'm just trying to get a rough idea in my head what weight of yarn people are going to be wanting. I was a little surprised when I got the Sasquatch yarn, what has sold out. Amy, we can do the Venmo like we did before, and we'll also hopefully in the next couple of days I'll be able to connect with my IT lady and I'll have it set up through the website as a project through there, because I know you guys all know me personally, and you know this is all on the up and up, but total strangers will not, and they will not feel comfortable. Oh, so, okay. So Amy would want the DK. Deb, would you want a DK or would you do a sock? I'm just curious and Christina, see, I don't know much about you, Christina. What weights would you now? And see, you surprised me, Cheryl, the other day, because you had said worsted would be a size that you would have gone for.
Yes. DK or worsted, I wouldn't go for fingering personally, just because I don't do socks. Only under protest, Robbin.
I know.
And hats. I've done a couple of hats in fingering weight, and they take so long. And that's just special. Very special people would get a fingering weight hat from me.
Let's see now.
So yes, I'd probably go worsted. But then again, as I said, most of my stuff is donated, so I tend to stay away from wool because you don't know what allergies people have, and also their circumstances. They don't always have hand washing facilities available.
Well, and this is all superwash merino, so this can all be thrown white in the washer and dryer. And that's the other thing too. I'm not going to do anything that isn't convenient. Now, again, down the road, we did talk about some specialty fabrics. that may have some availability as well. So that's good. That can be more fun. As it grows, hopefully it will grow. They will be sent out in bags, just like the holiday bags did, because bags are much more economical to ship than boxes.
Yeah.
And I think they ship just fine in the bags. I didn't have one person have a problem with their holiday bags.
That's good.
Have any issue with their holiday bags. And there was a lot of stuff in those things. A lot. So Christina, you would only want sock sets because I have been watching several of the companies that do sock yarn subscriptions, and a lot of them are not sock sets. They're just the basic sock yarn, but not sock set.
Fingering weight.
Yeah, fingering weight. Hello, Miss Susan. We are discussing the new subscription boxes that I'm going to be having. So it's literally starting right now. Cheryl, do you have that picture again?
I do. I'll find it for you. Now, the sock, when you say sock yarn, does it actually have nylon in it, or is it just 100% superwash?
No, it is sock yarn. So it is
sock yarn.
And I wish I had somehow I got here without my ball band, but I thought, oh, I know what this is. I don't need my ball band. So it's either, I think it's 75. I think it's 75% superwash merino and 25% recycled nylon.
Yes. Here we go.
I'm going to make you big too.
Okay, so this is January's.
So that's January. Oh yeah, Winter Wonderland. So the yarn will be based on that photo.
Those colors. And if it's not showing up very well, it's like peaches and peachy pink, grays, white, little bit of blues in this picture.
I see blue.
Really pretty.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be interesting to see what she comes up with from that.
Yeah.
It'd be lovely.
Think of a winter sunset.
Mm-hmm. Hi, Susan. My son has two friends. One is a Samuel and one is a Sam. And the Samuel doesn't like Sam and Sam doesn't like Samuel.
Oh, dear.
So I try to be conscious if, like us Australians, we shorten everything. So Susan is always Sue. But yes, Sue might not like Susan, or Susan might like Sue. Stop talking.
Yeah.
Digging my hole deeper.
No. And then we have the other Sue in here as well. So
yes.
But
well, funny story. My father's name was Alistair, but when he went to school, there was already another Alistair in his class. So he said, just call me George, because it's his middle name. And there were two other Georges in the class, and he goes, oh, just call me Dave. So his whole life, his name was Dave. Everyone knew him as Dave. Well, when he met my stepmother's mother, she didn't believe in shortening any names. And so she used to call him David. And it used to make me laugh because David isn't even his name. It's Alistair George, and Dave is just a nickname. But she was always David to him. Yes.
I got it, Deb. Congratulations, Miss Deb. She's my very first subscriber. Yay! Now I need my pom-pom. I'm cleaning, so I put my pom-poms away. You got yarn poms. Yay! Oh, I'm so excited. I haven't even seen the yarn yet. I haven't seen the test yarn yet.
There's a white palm right there.
Oh, there is a white palm right here. Yep. Here we go. This looks like a winter palm. Yay! Winter palm. Oh, so I'm waiting for the test. I expect to have the test yarn coming in the next day or so. But She does such a magnificent job with her colors. I could tell her, just send it to me and I'd be happy. So I think it just happens that the theme created itself. So the theme is nature's bounty. And that's going to be the theme for the year. And I've got so many beautiful things in my mind. One of the months, and I'm not sure which month yet, but one of the months is going to be Aurora Borealis. Imagine how gorgeous that one's going to be.
Yes.
And of course, we'll have something fall favorites, something like that. But I'm just super, super excited about this. And this is something I've been floating in my head for a long time. And Miss Amber has been pushing me and pushing me and pushing me. And I kept going, I can't. I don't know how. And then Miss Cheryl and I sat down and did all the ciphering, because that's not my strong point. And I'm like, okay, I think we can make this work. And so yeah, we're making it work. I already bought the yarn. Now I just got to get all of the little doodads together. And
if it's super popular, you can have a waiting list for the next section. So the next 6 months, well, the next 3 for the 6 months. Yes.
Right. And that's what we'll have to do when we run out of the first batch, we will wait list for the next batch. And I have a feeling that the DK is going to end up being waitlisted.
Right.
Because that really surprisingly is the one that everybody wants.
Especially in small quantities.
Yeah.
If it was larger sweater quantities, I could understand.
Yeah. And that's the other thing. If, let's say, for instance, you have bought a subscription for the DK, but 1 month you want a sock, just write me a note and we can make arrangements for me to add the sock in with your order. I'm happy as long as we're small enough for me to do that kind of stuff. I am more than happy to do that kind of stuff for you.
The other thing you mentioned when we were chatting was that, so say you had 2 or 3 skeins of the beautiful sock yarn or the worsted or whatever it was, but you wanted to make something bigger, then you paired it with your Cascade 220, wasn't it? For a cheaper but just as nice quality solid color to mix and match with.
Absolutely. And that I do that all the time with my hand dyes. When I'll go to a show or something, and I'll buy a couple of skeins of hand dyed, or even like the other day, there was a closeout from a lady she's closing down her store, and I bought some hand dyeds from her, and she only had 2 of this and 1 of that. Well, I'm going to take these 2 gorgeous purple and white hand dyes, and I'm going to mix them with a solid that I have, of one of my solids. And that's a wonderful way to use up. That's a wonderful way to use up your hand dyes and to stretch your hand dyes, where you could do something where you can highlight your hand dyes in a shawl or in the yoke of a sweater or something like that. And that's a wonderful way to stretch your hand dyes and to highlight that. A sparkle, I will have to talk to my dyer and see if that's something she works with. I don't remember seeing that on the list. But we'll just have a conversation. And sometimes things like that aren't things that she typically works with, but it doesn't mean she can't get it.
Yes.
The problem with some of those specialty things is they cost more, and I don't want to have to raise the price above, the price that we have set. Although there is no reason why, and I've seen this with a lot of companies. I've done a lot of research on this stuff. A lot of companies will say, this box costs this much, this box costs this much, this base costs this much. Pick out the base you want. But in order for me to offer this base, I have to purchase this much product from her. So
Yes.
again, we have to have enough people interested.
Yes.
I could definitely purchase enough of a certain base in certain quantity. But maybe a couple months down the road, we do a questionnaire. Would you, is this something you would be interested in at this price, kind of thing?
Yes.
Yeah, see what people want. I'm with you though. I love the idea of a sparkle. I love the idea of a sparkle. Miss Morgan's gonna buy a box.
I'm gonna buy a box.
Dennis is going to buy a box.
Dennis is going to buy a box. They may end up, if nobody else buys these things, it could be Morgan, Dennis, and Deb. Oh,
No.
and Amber. I know Amber's getting one. But yeah. Oh, so that's my big announcement. That's my big thing that's going on right now, is me trying to get this all figured out. I'm super excited about it. It's, sparkle. That I have this idea in my head. I have this idea in my head with some sparkle yarn. That would be so. In fact, I have to find out. I'll have to find out. I just don't remember seeing any in the things that she put out. But like I said, that doesn't mean it's not available. It just means that it wasn't there the day I looked. So what is everybody working on? Or is everybody kind of relaxed a little bit after Christmas? We got New Year's coming up. When is New Year's? That's Wednesday.
Yes.
Still opening packages from that crazy lady that sent out the Advent thing that was forever long.
A couple more to go for that.
Yeah, we still have through the 1st, I think. You know, Sue, I got to tell you, originally, that's what I was going to do. When I came up with the Advent bag, I had thought about doing a stitch marker subscription. Did not think anybody would be interested. That would be a good add-on. That could be something I could do an add-on in the list. I could have a specific stitch marker every month. A set of stitch markers each month. Because I do enjoy making them. My favorite ones that I made in the Advent bag were the hook size stitch markers. And I made different ones for every single person. So when you got your hook size stitch markers, yours were completely different from everybody else's. And I don't think people realize that I made those. Oh, what a good idea. She's using 2 packs of Lion Brand bonbons to donate all 16 minis and blindly grabbing them. That's a great
idea, Leslie.
Yeah. Christina, it's available right now. Let me put in my email address and you can send me an email and I'll invoice you for it.
Is that a knitted or a crocheted shawl, Lefty?
That's a great. So now, are the bonbons? Oh, a small shawl. I was going to say, because those are pretty small. So what happens if you get 2 colors next to each other, or is that not allowed? It's crocheted. See, that would be my one and only rule, is if I pulled out one that I was doing, I would throw that back in. It'd have to be, I couldn't put 2 colors together.
I think I did that with one of the Nan's Next knots that I've only done one. I can't remember if it was number 6 or number 7. And the way it worked out was that there was a double color, and I thought, no, that's not happening.
Not happening.
And changed it up, fudged it a little bit.
I did one of the Nan's Next knots, and I did hectagons, and I ended up tearing them out and throwing them away.
Oh, really?
I did not like the hectagon pattern that I had. I did not like the way it worked up. And then I got so far behind, I wasn't liking it. And it was one of my whips that I'm just like, I don't like this. So I just
See if I can find a picture of the one I did. I really liked it. I wouldn't do it again.
No.
But I liked it.
She says they're different colorways, so they're not, she doesn't have any duplicates. That's a good idea. I guess I didn't realize they came in different colorways. The bonbons that I've seen were all the same.
Okay. Oh.
I've got a bag of over here of yarn that I'm sorting through that I'm going to send to Miss Carrie for the guys. I thought I was going to do the whole bag, and I thought, I better look through it first. But it looks like from here.
So this is the pattern I did for Nan's Next knots. Let's see if I can get a bit bigger.
That's pretty. I'm going to make you big. Hang on. That's beautiful.
It actually goes that way.
Like that. I've seen the pattern before.
Yeah, I did a couple of things different. I made a couple of adjustments because I didn't like the pattern. I called it the lozenge stitch, but I've heard it called other things as well. And it's like you do a single, a double, a single crochet, a half double, 2 doubles, 2 trebles, and then back down again.
That's very similar to the baby blanket design. I think it just has a few more like single, single, half double, 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 and then down. It's got
something like that. Yeah. And I did something different where the black drops down into, because it was very thin. So I think I did 2 stitches in the one, like a double crochet, 2 together.
That would make sense. It is so pretty.
It turned out really nice. I had the colors all set up, and I thought, I hope we don't get this color right next to this color, because it was, so I fudged it a little bit sometimes.
Oh, wow, that's pretty. So this is the shawl she's making out of the bonbons.
Nice.
Yeah.
And are the bonbons variegated yarn, so they're a solid color?
They're a solid color. Very pretty. Good job. Good job. I've been trying to clear out my email. Oh, good Lord. There's so many emails.
That's an end of year task for me. I do that every year because why did I keep that? Why did I keep that? I usually delete as I go. So if I've read it and I don't need to keep it, I delete it. But there's still things that hang around. I thought, why do I need a PayPal receipt from the beginning of the year? Because it's already in my PayPal account. So delete all of that sort of stuff.
Yep. Well, at this point, I have 7,300 emails in there.
Oh my gosh, no.
How many are unread? Let's just see. No, it doesn't tell me, but there's a lot. Lots and lots and lots and lots and lots are not read.
No,
there's snow. We've got snow.
Nice. We had storms last night. A little mini tornado went through.
Really? There's a snowball, you guys. We got snow.
Oh,
Go show
wow.
Morgan.
Send me some.
Okay, here you go.
I have never
Sometimes-
seen snow in real life.
I know, that's so funny.
Morgan, you want this?
So I
When
have
I
this romanticized idea of what snow is like.
It is.
And I know in reality it will be different, but it's magical in my mind.
Oh, it is magical. It's really pretty when you first get it.
You don't have to keep it like this.
I'm gonna throw it at Robbin.
Do not throw it at Robbin.
She live?
Yeah.
Ready?
Oh my gosh, Amy,
No.
20,000 unread emails.
When you're done.
Good
We need to have
Lord.
a competition.
It's starting to stick. Oh boy. See?
I have.
I do see. Huh. That's crazy.
I've
And
actually
then
started
I'll go through and
unsubscribing to
delete
those.
hundreds of them. Like when I'm sitting at the theater, when I'm done working at the theater,
Mm.
I'll go, I'm just going to start deleting emails, and I'll pull up something like my Netflix account. Why do I have all these emails? Don't forget to finish. Here's your reminder.
Oh, I would turn that off.
Here's
I would
what's
turn that
coming
off
out
in
new.
Netflix.
And they're from like 5 years ago.
Mm.
My Netflix DVDs that aren't even a thing anymore.
Yes, I guess that's one of the Lefty said that she missed some medical insurance and now has 48 hours to deal with it. That would
Mhm.
be my son, actually. I'll say to him, have you renewed your comprehensive car insurance? And he goes, I don't think I've got an email. I said, well, I got an email because we're on we're part owners of
Yeah.
his car technically, so
Yeah.
that he gets a cheaper rate. Because under 25 is ridiculous. It'd be nearly
Oh, I know.
$2,500 for him to insure his car. At least he gets a little bit of a break. And I said, so he doesn't check his emails very often or remember. And I said, well, I got an email, so you definitely got an email.
Right?
He goes, oh, yeah. I said, when's it due? I always put in my phone when his stuff's due, and I let him know about 3 or 4 days before. Have you paid this yet? He doesn't live at home. He is an adult. But
And then you'll get these important emails, and they'll go to your junk account.
yes.
Which,
Some YouTube channels are sponsored, and they'll say it's like some of them will be NordVPN or other
Mhm.
things. But there's other ones that say, is your data safe? Who has your email address? Who has this and that? Try our free thing to see what information of yours is on the net. So there was one person or group of people who I really trusted on the internet. And I thought, okay, if they're accepting sponsorship from this person, they must be on the up and up.
Mhm.
And so I did it. And there were a couple of really old passwords that I no longer use for accounts I don't use that were there. I thought, okay, well, I'm not terribly worried about what information of mine is on the internet. I have been spammed so much, and they're all investment companies. I think, and it all started happening the day after. And I thought, I'm really disappointed that companies would do that. Like, it can't possibly be just coincidence
No.
that the day after I give you my email address to see what information's out there, that you're suddenly spamming me. And it's all very controversial topics, like
Mhm.
Biden does it again, and you look at who sent it, and it's IVP stockbrokers or
Right.
something. What are you
Right.
going on about Biden or Russia or
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
of these sort of things? So yes, my blocked list is getting very, very long. I report them as spam because that's what they are, and hoping it'll settle down soon.
I know. Well,
It's
and
an
I
email address I've had since 1996 or 7 or something, so I don't want to move. Don't want to do a cyber move.
Mhm.
Yes.
And I've been, I have well over half of the emails I get are yarn channels.
Mm.
It's the Hobie ads, and it's the Joanne ads, and it's the
Yes.
I can't even think of anything. Creative Corner, Knitting Circle, Pinterest, Mary Maxim, Moogly, you know, all of them. And
Yeah.
I've considered setting up a yarn email. And so when I do subscribe to one of those, it goes to that one. So my main actual email doesn't get full of all that junk, so that I can keep my, like, let's say my official email clear, and then I don't miss the ones from the insurance company and the ones from the doctor and the, you know, the important emails. And so then what I would call the junk that I want to get, my yarn patterns and all of that kind of stuff. Good night, Christina. Thank you.
Good night, Christina.
Then those would be in a separate folder that I can look through at my leisure and delete as I want to, without you know, missing out on the things I want to see, but at the same time it's not messing up the stuff that I want.
Yes.
And because it, you know, you don't want to unsubscribe from those things, because you still do want to get them sometimes.
I've been unsubscribing from a lot of US companies selling yarn, because I have so much. I don't need more yarn. Although there is some yarn coming out soon that I'm definitely going to try and get, but generally I don't need more yarn. And I think it's the fear of missing out sort of thing.
Oh,
like, everyone's
absolutely.
raving about this yarn. I need to touch it. I need to feel it. And it's like, oh, okay, that's very similar to our whatever.
Yeah.
But no.
Well, yeah, and they do, Lefty, but I don't think Moogly is selling her email list, and you know, I don't think these little yarn bloggers are selling their email lists. The big companies absolutely are.
Absolutely, yeah.
But
I signed up. I had a new email address, and for the purpose of signing up to this one company, who they're kind of like Dollar Tree, I guess, or something like that. They sell everything really cheaply, and I thought that'd be definitely someone who would on-sell your email address. So I set up one specifically for that, because I wasn't planning on ordering from them a lot. And in their privacy policy, they say your privacy is important. We will not sell your email address. I bought whatever it was, and then the next day I had emails from other companies. I thought, well, no one else. This is a new account. I bought from one person, and one person has it, apart from Yahoo itself. And now I'm getting spam. I don't believe you.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So that blanket pattern, the 12 squares that you showed me last night, that one, to get the pattern, you actually had to give, it's a free pattern, but you had to give your email address and your address.
All the time. There's several. It's as if you're buying. It's the same thing with Inspiration Fiber Arts.
Yes.
You have to do all that stuff. And it's annoying, because every time I get one of their free patterns, you have to put all that stuff in. And I'm like, I'm already signed up as one of your customers. Why do I have to input this every time?
Yes.
But
I gave a bogus email address and bogus.
Well, and I sent you the pattern anyway.
Oh, did you? I thought it was just the link.
The first time I sent you the link, second time I just sent you the pattern.
Oh, okay. I didn't see that one.
Yeah. So we found we found a it's a knit pattern, and it's kind of a knit along that this lady had done one block a month, and she had a bunch of her friends come up with a pattern, a block each month. But she gave the whole thing away free all at one time. And of course, she was telling you, buy my yarn, buy my stuff, buy my thing. Here's the free pattern. And it reminded me, it put me in the mind of that awful blanket I did last year. But these blocks were pretty, and they weren't boring like mine was. And I sent it to her kind of going, ha ha, look at this. And she's like, you're not going to do this as a crochet along or a knit along, are you? And I go, oh God, no. And she says, okay, good. But we were looking at it and it was very pretty. It's a very pretty blanket. Much more complex than the one we did last year, which I couldn't have done this blanket last year. And I think this year, at least the 3 or 4 blocks that I looked at, I know I can do. And, you know, I didn't look that closely at them.
They're pretty, but like I said to Robbin, I would do it. So it was 3 squares by 4 squares in size. I would do it all in one piece. I wouldn't do them as separate blocks, which is doable, but there'd be slight adjustments that you'd have to make to the pattern. One thing I didn't like, so with the anthology blanket, they all had the same border size. So there was 4 rows of, or 6 rows of garter stitch at the top, 6 at the bottom of every square, and the same number at the sides. Whereas this one, a couple of them don't have that, and there's one that doesn't have any garter border at all.
Yeah, you're right. I can see that.
Yeah, well, I went through it all last night and had a look, and the squares that they've got next to each other, sometimes this one might have 6 garter stitch rows and this one will have 4.
Ooh,
so it's
pretty.
Not going to be, that's probably just my mind going, no, it all has to be the same. They all have to start at the same level. So I would adjust it in that way. But I'd definitely do it all as one and do it in one color rather than on the different colors.
But you couldn't, because some of these things, if the block wasn't multicolored, you couldn't see the stitching.
Oh, you could do it. You could do multicolor for those. I think there's one multicolored one in each row. So I just had, say I did it in grey, I'd choose white or blue or something as my contrast color. And just in that area there, I would do
actually, there's only 2 of them where it would have to have a contrast. That's strange. Well, actually, the one you probably could get away with not doing a contrast because it's just the stitch itself would show up as a contrast. Yeah. The other one you would absolutely have to. That is kind of weird that she threw those in there. But I guess, like I said, it's people's preference. Some of these are very pretty. And I could see
some of them are sort of
a whole project.
I agree, Sue. Garter stitch isn't my favourite, but people tend to use it as a border for squares because it's easy.
So then, like doing what you were doing, let's say this one has, and I'm just throwing this, let's say it's got 6 garter stitches on the edge, then you would do 12.
If it had 6, no, I wouldn't. I'd adjust that as well. So so they have 6 garter stitches on each side, and then the next block would have 6. Yes, I'd either do 12 on that side, or I would only do 3 on each end of the other one. So yeah, I'd fiddle around with the border and stuff like that, because sewing together is just a real pain in the butt.
Yeah, I never occurred to me that you could do it like that.
Yeah. I always look at patterns if they're in pieces. So sometimes with a cable blanket, you'll see that they'll do, this cable is one long thing, and then they'll do the next different cable, and then you sew them together. It's like, not just cast on 6,000 stitches and do it all at once, rather than all the strips and sew them together.
Yeah.
Now
you'd rather do a seed stitch. So in crochet, so now is that like knit, purl, knit, purl, knit, purl? What's a seed stitch?
A seed stitch is basically like a moss stitch. Some people call it seed, some people call it moss. They're very similar. So on one, like if you knit it on this side, you purl it on the other.
Oh, okay.
Or you knit it on the other. I can't remember now.
Now you have to have an odd number to make that work, right?
No. It just, if you've got an odd number, the rows will be the same. So say knit, purl, knit, purl, knit, purl, both rows. But if it's even, it'd be knit purl all the way to the end, and then purl knit
Pearl
on the
knit,
return row. So basically it just depends on odd or even whether you've got 1 or 2 rows repeat.
I
But yes, I
wonder,
prefer seed stitch.
I
to
wonder
emboss.
if the seed stitch would be too busy though with some of these patterns that they've got you going into.
And I think one of them actually does have seed stitch in it. The one that's got it's a maroony coloured one, and it's got looks like a window with another window and another window inside. I think that's got moss stitch.
Mm. I really like a couple of these. I can see, of course, that's a cable, so of course you like that.
Yes, I like that one.
And you know what? And I know this is just the seeing through to the white underneath, but at the base of that cable, I could see a bead.
Yes.
Wouldn't that be pretty? And then this is interesting.
Yes. That's right, Lefty. And I think that's what happened with Robbin's.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
You say seed stitch, and I'm like, no.
No. Robin was what she's called the Franken blanket, and there's one part that was a double moss stitch, so a double seed stitch, and in parts it turned out to be 2 by 2 ribbing actually for her one.
It was horrible. No matter what.
And I suspect that's how someone invented or designed seed stitch, by doing their 1 by 1 ribbing incorrectly and thinking, oh, what should I do there?
But I mean, you even helped me with that. And we decided that not only was I doing it wrong, but the pattern was written wrong. And everything about that was wrong. But I'll tell you what, that is the warmest darn blanket. I throw that thing on me all the time. And who was it? Somebody said that a blind man wouldn't complain about it.
Yeah.
That's the only thing good about it. But it is warm. It is a warm blankie. And I don't even care because it is one ugly Franken blanket. But some of these
with quilting.
That is so pretty. I like.
Yes, that one's nice.
It's just
I like
different.
that one. And then there are a couple of that are kind of not my
This is
type.
interesting.
Yeah, that one I'm in 2 minds about. It's okay. I mean, not every square needs to be spectacular because you need some to shine and some to just be the backgrounds.
I don't love that.
I don't love that one.
So you'll have to come up with something different for that square.
Shush! Stop doing this to me, Robin. Actually, I probably
don't tell me you don't have 50 blocks designed from last year.
I do.
Okay, this is cool.
Yes, that's the one that's got the moss stitch in there.
Oh dear God! No. Really, that's moss stitch, which means I can't do it.
So you can do it. Just pretend you're doing 1 by 1 ribbing and stuff it up, and you'll end up with seed stitch, moss stitch.
Well, I'm pretty good at messing things up, so this is.
See, it'll be perfect.
This looks hard. That looks hard.
Oh no, that's not hard. No.
Growing trellis.
Christy said they have nothing.
And I think that's the same with knitting and crocheting. Some of the things look hard that are actually quite easy, so they're impressive. You know, you like to put them in, whereas some things are just plain hard.
Look at this. Oh, this is for sure you. I can see you chomping at the bit for that one.
Yes, I like that one. That's similar to a design I've already done in one of my blankets.
Wow. I don't know if I could do that. Oh, and here's another one for you.
No, that one I don't particularly like. I don't.
Really?
Yeah.
The meander.
I know, but it's just there's something about that one that really just makes my skin crawl. And I've seen that particular pattern in a lot of knitting books, and I steer away from it. There's just something about it that gives me the icks. I don't know what it is. And there are a couple of knit cables that do that to me. They've got to fall into a certain type.
So that's 2 that you'll have to do a different design for us. And then this one is called Interweaving Mosaic. That's the one with 2 colors. I don't know about this one.
It looks very plain and ordinary to me. There's nothing special about that one.
The 4-row repeat. Knit 5. SLM. What's SLM? Slip.
Slip on SLM. I'm not sure. Oh, slip one with the main color.
Oh, yeah. And then we're going to slip 1, WYIB.
With yarn in back.
Knit 1, repeat.
Yep. So you'll be, what I think they're trying to say is you've got 2 colors. Say you've got blue and red. So you'll be, and blue is your main color. You'll be slipping the blue one and then knitting the red. Slipping the next stitch blue and then knitting the red that you get, yeah.
I think that's what I'm doing on that cowl that wherever it is.
Yes. Yeah.
And this, we did this one. Even I can do that.
Yeah, I didn't like that one. That one's the one that's got no border at the bottom.
Oh, it doesn't have a border. That's weird.
So it's going to look weird next to whatever blocks it's next to.
This one's pretty. I like this. I can see a sweater out of this. This is so pretty.
Which one was that? Oh, yes. That's okay.
Tying ribbons. It looks hard too. Oh, that's because there's a cable on everyone. Never mind.
It'll only be for 1 row.
Yeah, but if to do a sweater
and driveway.
That would look pretty like if you did a sweater that was like really plain with just like a 3 or 5 or 6, like a chunk in the middle or a chunk at the bottom out of that, like an accent. I really like that. That's pretty. I think that's my favorite one.
My last day off too.
So you only have to replace number 5 and number 10 and number 9 and number 11. So you got to replace 4 of them.
And of course, it's it's, I think I worked out that it's 52 by 47.
Oh,
it's size, so it's little. And it would be even smaller if I took out some of the others. So I think I'd do it 4 by 5. So I'd have to add extras as well.
12 blocks.
12 blocks. 14 by 14, I think.
14. That's a pretty good size block.
Yeah, the block size is okay, but then you've only got 3 going across.
Yeah, that's not big enough.
28,
time off.
38, yeah, 42 by 57 to 56.
Well, by the time you add in 8 more blocks.
I'm not going to do it.
I know, me either.
I mean, I'll keep the pattern there and I'll think about it, but it's not on my imaginary to-do list anytime soon.
No. And you've
my
got me
nephew's getting married.
Yeah, you've got me booked through the end of February, so.
Yes. And then my nephew's getting married in May. So I have a blanket to do for that.
May
I have the yarn for. Sorry?
What's your May wedding?
4th.
Oh, yours is before mine.
Yes.
Mine's not till the end of the May. The end of the May.
The end of the May.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it's because of May, like May 4th. May the 4th be with you.
May the 4th be with you.
They're not very Star Wars. Well, I don't think they are. fan, so I don't know that it's related to that or it just happened to be.
Mm-hmm. Well, ours is 5/25/25.
Yes.
So that's why they picked that day. Yeah, some of those squares are pretty intense, Lefty. And Cheryl keeps thinking I can do that. She has far greater confidence in my abilities than I have.
There was a study many, many years ago on how teachers responded to the bright kids and how they interacted with the not so bright kids. And so these people went in and said that they were doing IQ tests on all the kids, and the results would be private. They got permission to do this. So they did the test and they fudged them. So the kids who the teacher didn't think were very bright, they put results there that showed that they had potential, a lot of potential there. And then they left the papers or the results for the teacher to find. And then they went back a little while later and found that the teacher interacted with those kids totally differently now that she thought that they had potential. So that's all I'm trying to do with you, Robbin. You can do it. You can do it.
Yeah, I learned a long time ago to praise to a person out loud so other people could hear it, and that they would get more from that praise, even if it's little things. That they would take more from that praise than if I praised them in private, than if you praise them in private. If other people hear you praising that person, that it means more, and they will take more from it. And I try to do that all the time with my students, and even the students I don't believe in. I find something about their work and I praise it to everybody in the room. But
I do have faith in Robbin. I do have faith in her ability. So when I say you can do it, I'm not sort of
I know
saying that I know Robbin won't be able to do it, but I'll just tell her she can. So she'll try. No, I do.
And as much as we joke about that anthology, it did help. I learned a ton from that.
Yes.
I learned a ton. And even if it was and we talked about that from the first couple of blocks to the last couple of blocks, it was night and day, my abilities. And even if it was just the first couple of blocks, it literally took me all week long to get it done. By the end of them, I was able to do them in a few hours.
And you were also able to more quickly notice when you'd made a mistake. You didn't often go back and fix them, but you noticed that
if I wanted to, I could have.
Yes.
But it became a point of pride to have a mistake in every one of them. Yes. Except for the one that's going to, because what we decided was basically the same design that's going to be in my blanket. I mean, my sweater.
In your sweater. Yeah.
So
see, that sort of project is why I would never, like someone who's new to knitting, say, do these squares as a blanket, because you have that. You have the loose tension, dropped stitches, a few mistakes, and then by the time you get to the end of it, because there were 30 of those things, was there?
Yeah, there was 30.
30 of them. By the time you're getting up to the 30th week or
oh my gosh,
whatever.
There's such different sizes in that thing. I took it to the movies the other day, and that was the blanket I took at the movies. And the difference in the sizes of the blocks, you couldn't even, some of them weren't even square. They were like big old oblongs.
And so that's why I would have done it, if you wanted to do it over 30 weeks, which I think is a bit long, do them as washcloths or something like that, where the size doesn't really matter and it's not going to impact the one that it's next to. Say for the first 10 of them. And then when you get the the skill level up a bit, then make a blanket or a scarf. I probably would have done a scarf made up of squares.
And some of those would make that keyhole scarf, which, by the way, I gave to my sister-in-law, and she loved it. And I was surprised because I didn't know if she was like saying, "Oh, I love it," but she put it on and she was wearing it when she left, so I knew she liked it.
That's good.
And I can see some of those patterns looking really pretty in something like that keyhole scarf.
Yes, there's no reason you can take it that you have to make a blanket out of it. Take a few of the squares. If they're too big, if 14 inches is too big, then use a finer yarn and a smaller needle. They'll come in. And I'm not a fan of granny squares as such, but there are certain granny square scarves that I really like, and there might be like really tiny ones along the bottom, and then they'll have a center one, and they'll have the little ones around it, and it'll go like that for a while, and that'll be at the ends, the little tiny ones. I quite like that.
Yes,
look.
I do too. I like that design.
Mm.
By 14. Yeah, she used a worsted on this. So I bet you if you drop down to a DK,
yeah,
it's gonna
and a 4mm needle.
Yeah, 14 is way too wide for but a DK, I bet it would drop that down to about a 10, which would be just right for a nice wide. Gosh, that would be pretty.
Lefty, your 24 blocks, could they be made into a scarf or even a cowl if it's sort of like wider than a thing? I don't like use little blankets.
See, that's what happened with our project. It was too small. So one thing I did was on each one of them, I crocheted a border. I did a single, a half double, and a double. And that added 2 inches all the way around. Just that made it a decent sized blanket. And then when I connected them, that added a little bit more.
Yeah. And I'm still collecting. I'm still going around mine and doing them. They're not connected together. I got all the squares done really quickly just to make sure the patterns were okay.
Everybody did, except for me.
Yes.
But it was still fun. I mean, I'm glad it's done. And I'm glad because I took the time when I was sick and connected them. It gave me something to do that I didn't have to think too hard about. When I was sick, and I accomplished because I don't know that I would have got it done otherwise. And because I couldn't even crochet on anything, I just kept messing everything. Good night, Sue. I'll talk to you later. But it was the perfect project for even the first time I tried it, even connecting them, I messed it up so bad. Trying to put my stuff in order, I messed it up 3 different times and had to unsew them. I had to wait a couple more days to where I was feeling a little more clear-headed. But I was glad I got that done. And I actually use that because it's really warm. It's really ugly. It's another one of those blankets that I don't care if it ends up getting thrown on the ground or not. And I just found some really thick yarn in my room that is definitely a blankety yarn. I can't imagine making a wearable out of it, although I have seen some almost a coat type thing where they're using yarn that thick. And I remember buying a lot of it thinking I was going to make a big old blanket. And it's really pretty yarn. I should dig that out and show it to you and have a conversation.
Lefty, could you find a coordinating yarn maybe in a similar weight and fiber content to do as like a border around each of the squares? So were each square the same color from the Hobby Lobby yarn?
Or you said there was 24. Could you do, say, 12 blocks of a complete contrasting color, like a solid, even a cream or,
Oh,
whatever,
yes.
and then have those like intermittent, like a checkerboardy type thing?
Hmm. I think I've done about 4 blankets, maybe 5 in my lifetime that have been you need to join. All crochet. I don't think I have done it with knit. And every time I say never again, never again.
Well, literally the only ones that I do are these darn projects of Dana's.
Yeah.
And luckily she's putting this year's off. I wasn't going to do it anyway because they're going to do like 70 blocks. And I'm like, I'm out.
No.
I'm out.
That's more than one a week. I'll see if I can
I've got
find
too many projects that I actually really want to get done. When I was going through my project list again a couple weeks ago, I'm like, oh yeah. And I've got like 4 or 5 blankets that I've just barely started, but they're all ones that I really, really want to do. So, I've got my show lodge and.
Okay. So I just found a blanket, one of the crocheted ones that I did, that was pieced together. And this is probably the only one that I really, really liked. It's probably going to be a bit washed out. So that was the style of it.
Look at that. Wow.
It's a lot brighter than it looks there. And I thought, oh, what have I got myself into? There were like 108 hexagons all up this thing, 96 whole ones, and I think 14 half ones. And I made them all. I did a process and worked really well. And then I thought, I've got to sew them all together. Oh my gosh. So they sat there for a few months waiting to be sewn together. And this is the only one that I actually enjoyed the process of sewing it together. It was so invisible. I'll have to drag out the pattern to see how they did it, but it was invisible. You couldn't even tell that they were joined together. That's my favorite one.
Yeah, that is gorgeous.
They called it Doris Daisy, the pattern.
Oh, how interesting.
Yeah.
How interesting. I wanted to tell you, I got a hold of Miss Jennifer from Green Tree Crochet, and I asked her about how much yarn we would need if we did DK instead of fingering on that shawl.
Mm-hmm. And
she just responded to me right before we started here. And she said probably 3 for the main color and 2 for the contrast.
Okay.
So that means I cannot. I was going to say I couldn't use the purple, but I could use the purple for my contrast.
Yes.
So I'll have to find 3 solid DKs.
Because it's not a really dark purple, your one, is it?
No, it's a very bright, vibrant purple. It's like a dark purple, light purple, white mixture.
Yes. I don't know. I'm terrible with colors like that. I like to find a contrast, something that really contrasts with it.
So I could use something really. I don't know.
What about a dark green?
Oh, see, I hadn't thought that. I was going towards a white, but a dark green with it being with the purples and those would make it like a plant color, like flowers. Almost maybe not a dark green, but maybe an emerald green.
Jay, you don't want it too bright because, like you said, the purple is bright. You want it to, like, I think they were saying, like really a big
I'll have to get out my color wheel.
Yeah.
I wonder if I can use the Pacific, because the Pacific, is that a DK or is that a worsted? But it's a little, if it's a worsted, it's a little, I think it's been in my opinion, all their yarns run a tad light.
Mm.
And I'm not the first one to say that. But there's nope, there is not a beautiful green in there. In fact, that's one of the things that lady that came in and complained about my yarn said, there's no good greens.
Okay.
She's right. I don't have much green. I need to order some green. I'm trying to think what I do have. I know I've got dark blue, but I wouldn't
How are
want
you
that.
feeling? Are you getting better yet?
If only I could spell. If only I could spell.
Lefty, how you feel about your blanket? You know, you've got other things to do. That's how I feel like the anthology blanket. It's like all the squares are done. I just have to put a couple more border rows on some of them and sew it all together. But other things are higher priority. Could put a border around them and put them together as a washcloth. Oh, only if they're cotton or wool.
I've got sort of a spring green.
Mm.
Might not work. Oh, that doesn't look right. It's much brighter than that. It's
Okay.
very much a spring green.
Well, do the same thing as she suggested. Put the colours together, take a picture, and see if there's much of a contrast.
Mm-hmm. What else do I have? I sold 2 of those. I got to get that updated. See, I'm so bad at updating the website.
The yarn that you're going to use, the purple one, has a orchid type feel to it, which is why green popped into my head for it.
Mm-hmm. The Anchor Bay. I've got a beautiful Anchor Bay, but it's not even close to the same texture. It would look weird.
And when does her one start?
In a couple weeks.
Yeah, 15th maybe.
I put it on my calendar. Let's look. January 15th. The pattern comes out on the 15th and the Zoom is on the 16th.
Right.
And Miss Terry, we go to chemo school on Thursday, and then oh dang it, I just pulled out a bunch of, and then we should know that day when her chemotherapy starts.
Right.
So, but we did find out it's going to be once a week on the same day of the week. So like if it's on Mondays, it'll be every Monday. So we did find that out, and then I'll be able to rearrange. Hello, Stella.
Hi, Stella.
Then we'll be able to rearrange my physical therapies. And I don't know what I did for tomorrow. I put my physical therapy so close together, I'm barely going to have time to get from one doctor to the other tomorrow. I might have to have Mr. drive me because he's way faster. He'll drive on the freeway where I won't.
How's his leg? He's able to drive?
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that. Never mind.
About what?
Nothing, dear.
I can drive.
Nothing, dear. I forgot. Thanks for reminding me.
I can drive. It's just a flash wound.
I forgot.
I can drive.
Yeah. So, Yes, we have been enjoying the holidays.
There's lots of memes around about the time between Christmas and New Year's where it's sort of like just confusion. You don't know what day it is. You don't know. You're still eating leftovers. It's like Groundhog Day. You're still eating Christmas dinner again and again. And
We didn't
I
have
kind of feel
that.
like that at the moment. It's like it should be New Year's by now, but it's still, well, tomorrow's New Year's Eve here. It seems like, wow, that's just dragged.
We actually didn't have Christmas dinner. Now that I think
Okay.
about it, because we went to his daughter's for Christmas Eve, and we had really good Mexican that I couldn't eat, because of course too spicy for me. But she's
Spicy for you.
she's a phenomenal Mexican cook, so everybody just loved that food. And I was able to eat some hummus. So mostly I had hummus, and then I had a taco that didn't have any seasoning. But there were some good Christmas cookies. But I got to hold the baby for 2 hours.
Shit, really.
Yeah.
So that was my treat. And then we went to my other grandson's on Christmas morning, and we had really good omelets and mimosas that were delightful. So we didn't really have a traditional Christmas dinner. I didn't realize that until you said it. And I didn't end up with any leftover pie, but I did get leftover. No, I did not. That was not for Christmas. That was Thanksgiving. We got leftover cinnamon rolls, homemade cinnamon rolls. And so I'm eating the last one of those. I'm nibbling at that.
Okay, Lefty. My son came up for a few days. He's got their business closes down over Christmas until New Year, so Christmas, New Year, and so yeah, no idea. All I know is he goes back to work on my birthday. So
Oh,
there you go. Oh, that's all right. I don't do anything for my birthday. That they come around is present enough for me.
yeah.
I was saying, I think the last time we were online that I was doing that Biscoff cheesecake. It
Yes.
was such a disappointment. It was
Oh,
bland as anything. And yet Steve, my hubby, he loves it. He goes, oh, that's so Moorish. So he's basically scoffed the majority of it. Even my son said, I mean, okay. So I tried freezing it, thinking, sometimes that will intensify the flavour. No, it just tasted like you were eating nothing. There was no taste whatever after it was frozen or while it was frozen. The texture was okay, but that was about it. So if you do it, don't try that recipe I sent you. Try find something else. But
that's funny because I saw the Biscoff stuff in the jar, and I almost grabbed one because I'm like, we're going to be making that. Well, I guess we're not.
Yeah. No, it was and I love Biscoff biscuits. I haven't had the spread before, but it tastes like the biscuits.
Mm-hmm.
And my husband doesn't. He doesn't like them. So I was surprised that this cheesecake went the other way, that he liked
Isn't
it.
that funny?
It seemed like a waste of Philly cheese, cream cheese to me.
Yeah.
But yes.
Nope. Wait, let me look here. I did get that recipe for that inside out German chocolate cake.
Oh yes, from Linda.
I do want to try that. I wonder where Linda is doing with family. I do want to try that because basically it looks like, and having just glanced at the recipe, it looks like you just take the box cake mix and do it up like normal with the oil and the eggs and everything, and then take your can of frosting and just stir it all together and cook it. And I think you're right. If you do that in a loaf pan, it's going to be just right. And then maybe sprinkle a little powdered sugar on top. But
it's odd to put the frosting in. I mean, I guess that's what makes the inside out.
Yeah, that's what makes it the inside out. Yeah.
So what's your frosting? Like, to me, frosting is icing, sugar, and butter.
Well, for a normal frosting, but for German chocolate cake frosting, it is, gosh, I don't know what the base is because I've never made it from scratch, but it's not German chocolate cake frosting. It is coconut and nuts and
Oh, okay.
stellar. Lefty, have you guys ever made German chocolate cake frosting from scratch? It's almost like what's the inside of a pecan pie.
I've never had one.
Oh, well, let's look up the recipe then because I don't know how to describe it.
So is it chunky?
Very.
Okay. See, we wouldn't call that a frosting.
Well, just on this cake, it's different. So it's a German chocolate cake frosting. Oh, here, yeah. Okay, this is a good picture of it. So it looks like coconut, pecans,
Butter and sugar. Okay.
butter and sugar. Okay. Yeah, this one says brown sugar, little vanilla, eggs and cream. Oh, so you make almost like a caramel first and then add that into it.
Right.
So this is
what COVID over Christmas wouldn't have been fun, Stella. Anytime. Oh, that's really odd.
Yeah, it's really good. It doesn't look like icing at all.
No.
But it's, oh man, I can eat that by the spoonful. It's my favorite. Coconut pecan topping. Brown sugar, butter, egg yolks, vanilla, coconut, and pecans.
Oh, goodness. Yeah, egg yolks. Wow.
Oh, and evaporated milk. Did I say that? Yeah, so you just add all that and then mix the other two together. Oh, that sounds good. Oh, that sounds good. Medium heat, medium heat.
So that's the frosting that you mix through the cake mix, is it? Okay, that makes more sense.
Yeah.
Than just a cream frosting. I thought, that's not going to hold up real well.
No. Oh, that sounds good. That's one of my favorite. Yeah. Yeah, fudge frosting and then that frosting. Oh, yeah, that would be delightful.
And so German chocolate cake, that's not Black Forest cake, is it?
No, Black Forest cake is
different.
cherries.
Okay.
I don't like black because I don't do cherries. Mocha fudge. See, I wouldn't care for mocha fudge because that's coffee flavored.
Yes. Oh, do you not like coffee?
Nope. I like all the creamer and stuff that goes in coffee, but I don't care for coffee flavor that much.
Yes, I don't drink coffee at all.
Yeah, I'm going to eat it, but I'm not. It's not going to be my favorite.
Oh no, I'm not going to eat it either if I can avoid it. And if I happen to accidentally pick a coffee chocolate, I'll see if I can spit it out without anyone noticing.
Yeah. Good night, Lefty. I'm so glad that you joined us.
Night, Lefty.
Coffeeholic.
No, well, I'm a teaaholic.
I had a cup of tea. I had a cup of coffee this morning, and then I had followed it up with a cup of tea. It was very good. It's very good. And now I'm drinking my iced tea. I drink more iced tea than I do hot tea, but I like both.
And is it sweet iced tea?
Nope, black.
Yep.
My hot tea is black and my iced tea is black.
Same here. And that's why I don't mind if I've made a cup of hot tea. Like this one I started before we I made it before we even started. So it's been, over 2 hours now?
Yeah.
It's a nice tea.
Yep.
Whereas when I used to have milk in it, no way. If it wasn't hot, if it went cold.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
I see with my coffee in the morning that's got my mocha flavoring in it, my shake flavors, if that gets not hot anymore, then I have to put ice in it and then I can finish it off.
Right.
I don't like it room temperature, but so. Well, I think, it's been 2.5 hours. I think we ought to call it a night and let these poor people go to bed. And
Bev, it's only 2 in the afternoon.
Oh, I know, for you. Herbal holiday seasonal tea. Sugar cookie flavored. That sounds yummy. That's right. You were going to go skiing. Nope, I don't go outside. I avoid going outside. In fact, I don't think I even stuck my nose out the door today.
Yes, you did. You dumped the box out there.
Oh, I did. I dumped out this bag. I dumped the crumbs out of this bag, and that was it.
And see, it's similar here at the moment. It's so hot and it feels like you're walking in through a swamp as soon as you go outside. Oh no, it's horrid.
That's so funny. That is so funny. I just can't get used to that being the opposite weather.
Yes.
So, well, folks, I actually put out an honest to God video. I don't know if it went up today or tomorrow. Can you believe that? An actual video. Let me look on my thing. It's a short one. Basically just saying, hi, I haven't fallen off the face of the earth.
Night, Susan.
Let's see here. Must not have. Oh, it's going to be tomorrow. It's going to drop tomorrow.
Okay.
And then I've got to get another one done real soon to talk about. I know, right? I'm going to do another one real soon to talk about the subscription box. And I've got to get one to show you guys a really cool, interesting yarn that I got about 2 months ago that I just opened up. But it's really different. It's really pretty. And I got things to do. I also got to get my house clean.
It's supposed to snow tomorrow.
But I'm working on it. I am working. I am working on it. So I feel like Miss Morgan has adopted the kitchen, so that took a huge lifted that weight off of me.
I'm off the floor today, by the way.
Yes.
That has helped a lot.
Well, my son's room still looks exactly the same. Well, I think 2 things went in there, but that's it. Actually don't think I might show a photo. Let's see how brave I feel. What his room looked like before he came home. Okay, so guys, that was his room before he came home, because I just pile things up and pile things up and pile things up.
As we all do.
And let's see if we can find the after. And that's his after.
Isn't that fabulous?
There we go.
So
yes, that only took a few days to do. Found a lot of stuff there that I have no idea why it was sitting there on the table and just getting piled up. There were 31 hats, about half a dozen scarves.
Yeah, but you give all those hats away, right?
Oh yes, I give all the hats away.
Yeah.
But the organisation's closed down over Christmas, New Year, so they'll have to wait. But they're put away now, ready to go into the mail for them. And yeah, some of that stuff there will go to Carrie, some of the yarns and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Sort through all of that stuff that just piles up. You're just wanting to get the project done, and you just put it down and pick up another project, and it's quite embarrassing actually. So I said to Robbin, it will never get like that again.
I hear that. Yeah, I got all of my fabric is tidied up and put away. The whole sewing area is tidied up and put away. And
do you want to bring yourself up again too, Robbin?
Huh?
Do you want to bring yourself up on the screen again?
Oh, sorry. I thought I did. There we go.
There we go.
I had it set on exit, but I hadn't clicked it. I was to the point where I was going to take down my cutting table, and I thought, no, this is working really good as a sorting station as I'm going through all these different things. And so I just grab up the next box or bin or stack or whatever and sit there and go through it.
Yeah.
And then I've got room to separate things. And I've got my, there's this lady that I really, really like her. I've been listening to her for years and years and years. Oh, what in the heck is the name of her stuff? It's I sit and listen to her. She's one of the few organizing ladies that I like because because she's not there's some people that are naturally organized and naturally tidy, and I'm not like that, and neither is she. It's Dana White, Dana K. White. And is that just the name of her channel? Just Dana White? That doesn't sound right. But the reason I like her stuff is because she isn't naturally tidy. And so she gets it. She understands people aren't all like that. And that, you get these people who tell you how to organize things, and they'll tell you,
it's never going to work.
No, it isn't. Because if you've got a cluttered mindset, or you have an actual life, it doesn't do any good to empty out an entire closet, because you're never going to get it figured out. You can only deal with 5 or 10 minutes worth of stuff at a time. And that's how she shows you how to do things.
Honestly, if I emptied out my closet and put it on the bed, we'd be sleeping on the floor in the lounge room.
Exactly. And so many of the organizing gurus, that's what they tell you to do. And then they tell you to separate things out in all these different piles. That doesn't work, because then you've got 47 piles for the next 8 months. And this isn't how she works. She works very differently, and it's probably not as efficient for the average person who is naturally tidy, but it is efficient for people like me that are not naturally tidy. And you basically, you have a garbage bag, you have a giveaway bag, and your donate bag, and
donate, keep, and rubbish.
Yeah, but you don't even have a keep bag, because if you're keeping it, you're dealing with it right now. Because if you've got a box for keeping, you're just going to end up with a bunch of boxes full of stuff. And so, for instance, if I were cleaning out this thing, I would have this. If this crochet hook was sitting on the counter over there, which it's likely to be, instead of having a stack of things, well, now I've got a pile. I'm going to take this crochet hook and go put it where it belongs. And where it belongs is, where would I look for this? If I were going to look for this crochet hook, where would I look for it? And where I would look for it is right there in that drawer. Because that's where my crochet hooks live. And if I go to put this crochet hook in this drawer and there's no room for it, it's that container is full. So I either have to get rid of this crochet hook, or I have to get rid of something that's in this container, which is a drawer full of crochet hooks, to make room for this.
I'm getting another container.
Nope, you're not allowed to do that. It's the container method. And your container is your house. And everything you have in it has to fit in the place. Now, if I choose to have 2 containers of crochet hooks, that's fine. But that means something else has to go. And that's really the bottom line. When it comes right down to it, it's a place for everything and everything for its place, but you have to get to that point.
Yes. Yeah.
And right now I'm still getting to that point. But that's it in a nutshell, is every single thing that I pick up, this pencil does not belong sitting on the ottoman. This pencil belongs over there or right here. And it's okay for me to have pencils here and pencils over there, but I also don't need 500 pencils, which I probably have. At some point, when I get to that cleaning off that desk, I'm going to have to say, okay, how many pencils do we really need? And I've done that before. And, but that's what we're getting down to. You've only got so much space, and you have to make a decision. Which items are you going to keep? Which items are you not going to keep? And, we've got a thing here, and this has been a thing for a long time. Cups and mugs, anything like this. If you bring in a new one, you have to get rid of 2 because, yes, because we have too many. Morgan's got them. I've got them. Mr. has them. We had all the ones in the motorhome. And so we probably got rid of a box of 30 mugs and cups and glasses, and they went to the Goodwill. And it looks,
I think Lifeline's sick of looking at me like more, you've got more. Like, darling, you don't know the half of it. And I've actually started going around to different ones when I'm donating yarn and stuff, because it's an embarrassment how much yarn I have. And I'll never use it. In 10 lifetimes, I would never use it all. Some of it gifted. I don't give that away, but a lot not. And and because I live in a regional area, we have very limited Lifeline, Vinnie's, Sally's. And then I'll go to another town, like half an hour a different direction, and drop some off. And then I'll send a couple of big boxes over to Kerry as well.
Well, but
and I find too, when you've got so much, that it does weigh on your mind. Like it almost imprisoning in a way. When I cleaned out my son's room, it was like, and I was still working in there until he came home. It was like, oh my gosh, this feels so much better not having stuff piled up either side of you and all that sort of stuff. So yes, 2025 will be a major downsizing year, I think.
Well, and there's no way I will say I'm never buying this again, because I will. But I'm trying to be much more conscientious about what I buy. I'm going to buy nicer things. I'm not buying it just because it's on sale. I don't buy it unless I've got a project in mind. And like the yarn, that yarn that I bought the other day, that hand dyed, that was a very special thing. I don't have a specific project in mind for it, but I know that's going to be a special thing that I will use. And the other day I saw something, and I don't know if it was on one of those sites where people talk. And it said this lady had, like Reddit. It wasn't YouTube, but it was a thing.
Oh, okay.
And it was where they had posted things. And she had posted this big picture of all this gorgeous hand-dyed yarns and hanks. And she said she had gone to like a Goodwill. And she said she just knew that somebody had died, some grandma had died, and she knew this was somebody's special yarn stash that they saved and saved and saved. And she said, use your special yarns, because now this beautiful yarn that this lady had curated for years ended up at the Goodwill for $3 a skein. And she bought all of it and shared it amongst her friends. And that's the way I feel about this yarn that I just bought. I am, you and I have been looking through this yarn and looking it over, and what can I make with this, and what can I make with this, and what can I pair with that. And I really want to use some of that with this shawl that we're going to be making. Because it is gorgeous yarn. and I want to use it for these special projects.
Yes,
Now,
I tend to not to have special projects for me because I don't wear shawls and stuff like that. I've got two that are very functional, and
Yeah.
that's it. And I wear them not that often anyway in winter. I would never wear a summer shawl, so I don't buy cottons like the thin cottons or anything like that to make shawls with. I'm not a shawl person. Blankets, I would never make a blanket out of
no, out of the hand
wool
dyes.
or a hand dyed or anything like that. No. So I'm very.
But now, would you make a cotton sweater? Because those are lighter weight.
No, they're too heavy still. This is cotton fabric. It's as light as I would go. I would never wear anything nylon in summer.
Now, see, I could see a tank top. In fact, I want to make tank tops like that out of the lightweight cotton yarn.
No, they couldn't be. It'd have to be sewing thread thickness.
Wow. But you guys
hot.
know me. I'm still wearing sweaters all summer usually. So
no. And if it was made with, the very like Cotton Kings, very fine, or the ones from Rena that are really thin, it'd have to be a very lacy type project, in which case I'd need to wear a cami underneath, and I'm just not doing that in summer.
Yeah, and I don't like
I would
doing
just wear the cami.
Yeah, I don't want to double up in the summertime.
So cardigans and jumpers I would make for winter.
Yeah. You know what's funny? I wore one of my shawls to a Christmas party the other day, and I got so many compliments on it. Almost everybody that was there complimented me on my shawl. Like, oh my God, that is so beautiful. I imagine you wearing shawls, but I've never seen you wear something like that. And I actually told them, I wore it to work one time, but I'm running around so much at work, it's just too hot.
I have never seen anyone in my circle, and even at posh events, wear a shawl.
But it was perfect for me because I wore a long sleeve tee like this, and then I wrapped myself in that shawl, and it was just and it was probably a DK weight, and it was just the right amount of warmth. And I felt very elegant with my shawl wrapped around, thrown around my shoulder. And I felt very elegant and I felt very dressed up, but it was just a freaking shawl thrown over my shoulder. And, and it was just right.
Hi, Maritza. Yeah, see, I guess there are some people who are shawl people and some people who aren't. And I don't think Australians generally are. There's probably a few, but
it made me feel it made me because I have 2 or 3 shawls on my list to make, and I'm like, really, why am I making all these shawls? But now it makes me feel that they're appropriate.
Yes. Apart from this winter that's just passed for us, winter's like so short that it's not.
Well, and we
probably 1 month out of the 3 for the season. Like June, it's getting cold. July is probably halfway through. It's getting really, really cold, and then by the end, it's warming up again. And that's where we are inland. If we went to the coast, when my son was born, like I said, he was very premature. He had doctor's visits every other week. And so we would drive down to Brisbane and see his appointments, and I'd stay with my sister down there. You would think I would get, okay, we're wearing cardigans here, and I'd take all that with me, and then we'd have to go to Target or Spotlight and buy some shorts and T-shirts because it was so hot on the coast. So yeah, Tasmania and other places get quite chilly, Melbourne, but where I am, it's sort of subtropical.
So Maritza, where are you hanging out nowadays? Are you in Florida? I can't remember. And what kind of project are you working on, Queen? Oh, I got to get this done. This is my, well, y'all know this is my big project to get done, but it's coming right along. I'm on the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm on my 6th repeat. So, hi, Erica. Thanks for coming in.
Hi, Erica.
So you guys be watching for my videos. I'm going to have 2 or 3 videos finally coming out. I guess I got one popping up tomorrow, and it's just a kind of a hi howdy. I haven't talked to anybody in a while. A 3-bag order, clearing off your table. I know. Boy, I hear that. And I actually want to talk to you about something, Queen. I've got an idea in my little head that I want to talk to you about. So I think I've got your phone number, but if not, I'll email you to get your phone number.
The video that you've got coming out tomorrow, is that the one about your subscription box?
No, it's not about the subscription box because I wasn't quite ready with details yet, but it's about, it's literally just, hello, here's a couple cool Christmas presents I got. I'll be talking to you. You have a video out. It's out. Yours is out right now, Bridget. Bridget, do you want to? Bridget, I think you can drop. Oh, you got a blue dress. Why don't you drop a link to that video here so that, God, I hope I can't make anything. I'm on too tight of a deadline. And with my shoulder, I can only crochet a certain number of hours a day. Although I'm up to about an hour to hour and a half, but I will go in and look. Maybe it's something I can do. I want to do all the things. Queen. Queue, Queen's Crafts. Your vanilla sock comes up every time. Okay. Which one is it? Is it the Yule Advent? Oh, Scavenger Hunt. Oh, okay. One or 2, 3 of your videos next month. Okay. Okay. Is it this one? Is that the video I need to watch right away? I want to make sure and watch I usually watch your videos. Okay, cool. But I don't always cognizant of what's actually happening, especially if I have to do something. That's not always a good thing. Okay, I will start this and then I'll be able to go back. Yes. Okay.
Yes, that was the one that you had up, Robbin.
Okay. Then I'll be able to go back and watch that and figure out what it is I have to do. Got it. So for the people that have just popped in that weren't here earlier, we being me, this is the Queen's we, are doing a subscription box. I've started a subscription box, and it is going to be every other month. Okay, cool. Every other month, starting in January. And the theme of the boxes is Nature's Bounty. The first one is coming out in January, and January's theme is, what is January's theme, Cheryl?
Winter Wonderland.
Winter Wonderland. Okay. And you can let me know you're interested, or hopefully in the next day or two, I will have that up on the website. You can do a monthly subscription, or you can do a quarterly subscription and purchase all 3 of them. The first 3 are already figured out and ready to go. You'll get your yarn, and there'll be a separate goodie in each box. You can do 1 skein, 2 skeins, or 3 skeins. You have your choice of worsted, DK, or fingering. So however you like your yarn to be, we are trying to provide that for you. And then also a little bit of leeway if, let's say you're in the worsted subscription, but you want to grab a skein of the sock, of the fingering weight, let me know and we can make that happen. Of course, it's all hand dyed. And the gal that did the Sasquatch yarn, our shop special yarn, she's also doing, and this is that yarn that I'm getting ready to crochet up for our crochet along. So she's doing all of the yarns for us. And the first 3 are in the works right now.
But the sock yarn won't have a mini that goes with it. It'll just be
sock yarn will not have a mini. No, at least not on this go around. At least not on this go around.
Yes.
Hopefully we'll have some add-ons down the road. It's been suggested that I have some add-ons of sets of stitch markers. So when I get a little bit caught up here, it definitely will not happen for the January box. The January box is just going to be the base boxes with the add-ons that go into it, the regular goodies that would go into it. But in the coming months, and again, it's every other month, so it's going to be January, March, and May. In the coming months, hopefully there'll be some extra things that if you wanted to purchase some extra things, like the set of stitch markers or some other things that I've got my eye on throwing in there. I've got to get with some other makers and see if there's some things that we can get done. Oh, I just had an idea. Just had another idea. So that's what's going on there. That's what I'm trying to get out the door right now. But if you're interested, you can contact me at that address right down below and let me know you're interested. We already have some boxes selling, so they are the first. When they sell out, they sell out. I will not be able to get reruns on those yarns. The gal that is making them for me is very, very pregnant. And so the yarn that is being run right now, that's why we're doing the first set of 3 right now. She's due in just a few weeks. And so we're trying to get this part done and out of the way. And so we will not be able to get additional yarn ran for a couple of months. So for sure, the first run will not be able to have add-ons. Possibly, maybe the months down the road, but absolutely the first run will not. So when it's out, it's out.
But the first runs will give you an idea of popularity and if people want extras and what they're asking for, what they want.
And what size
for the second run, which starts in June.
Yep. So you can do.
There's no problem going slow and small to start with.
Right. And I wanted to start out small anyway with the small order to begin with. Like I said, you can do a monthly subscription or bi-monthly subscription, or you can do the whole 3-month subscription. And you do get, if you order with the 2 skeins or the 3 skeins, you're going to get a discount. And if you order the quarterly subscription, you get an additional discount. So pretty excited, pretty darned excited. And that Nature's Bounty, their colors are just, they're so beautiful. That Winter Wonderland is so, so beautiful. We're really excited. So think about a sunset over a snowy winter forest.
I shall find the picture again. I should just download it rather than keep scrolling back through our messages.
You and me both. So hopefully, well, definitely by the end of this week, I will have a video up talking about that. And I would appreciate those of you that have the ability to do so. I would appreciate if you would share that video out.
So that's the inspiration for this, the first one. So yes, peaches and greys and creams and bits of blue. Very pretty.
Mm-hmm. So, okay. So, Bridget, I will look at that video and then I will give you a call. I've got 2 doctor's appointments tomorrow. So I'll probably call you maybe in the afternoon if that works for you. If I can find your phone number. If not, I will I'll send you an email. And then let me just look right now and make sure I've got your when the last time they upgraded my phone, I lost a lot of stuff. Nope, I've got you. Okay. So I'll give you a holler tomorrow. Alrighty, guys. We are coming up on 3 hours.
Oh my goodness, your gas bag.
I know.
He's been sitting here not saying a word, can't get a word in.
I know. I talk nonstop. So I will talk to you guys later. I'm so glad you popped in and thank for you for joining us. And especially those of you who are watching the replay, that is always fabulous. It always amazes me that people do watch the replays on these things. For those of you that sat through this whole thing, bless you. I can't imagine why you would do that.
Yeah.
Here we are babbling on.
Oh, Amy's still here.
I know. I know. Thank you so much, Amy. And we'll talk to you guys. If not before, we'll see you next Sunday. If all goes well. Toodaloo.
Yes. Bye, everyone.
Okay. Thank you, Bridget.